Rent free. Rent free. Rent free. Lives in your head rent free. Rent free. Rent free. Rent free. Lives in your head rent free.
All right. What is going on, everybody? This is your boy Tech Supreme, and I'm finally back with a new episode of Rent Free. This is episode 25. We're gonna call it season 2. I just took a couple month break, basically just because I didn't want to do the podcast. It's weird, right? So I'm just gonna hop right into it and talk about where I've been. I've been starting a new company, and you all, if you listen, you pay attention to me, you know I started an embroidery company, and I just wasn't mentally in the space to do rent free. I felt like I kind of got burnt out near the end of the year of all the creative initiatives that I do, so I needed a break. And through it's actually been more than a few months because I remember at me and my wife were traveling down the flood walls for Paint Lewis in September, and I saw the homie Brooklyn Mike, and he was like, "Yo, what up with your podcast, B?" Like, I was fucking with it, and shout out to Brooklyn Mike for that. And everyone, there's a few other people who like asked me what's going on with it. I appreciate it. It kind of made me think that sometimes when you're creative, I'll just say this, it feels like you're a hamster spinning a wheel. Like there's no real purpose to it. We don't do these things for monetary gain, or we don't do these things for popularity, for clout. Some people do, I don't. That's kind of not my thing. I feel like I've had my run in the sun, so to speak, or I've had my local fame through music, and I really don't have that desire to kind of go back there to that. So I kind of just do it as a passion, as an outlet. I mean, I've always been creative. I've never been a clock puncher. I've never been just I don't know. I've always been creative. I've always done things in the creative world. Hence, the last 14 years, having Illustrious, which is my graphic design company, and just being creative every single day. I'm just used to being creative with the music, with the graphics, with everything. But last year was kind of mentally trying, and I hit a point where it's like if it didn't bring me joy, I just didn't want to do it. Hence the reason why I stopped streaming, which I am going to get back into, and this is kind of like the first step into that because I'm actually doing it through OBS. I'm recording the podcast through OBS, which, as you may or may not know, is the default streaming um, platform program that everyone uses. So so this is kind of my way of getting back into it. The reason why I quit streaming was because I just was too stressed out about the numbers. I just cared too much, which kind of is counterintuitive of doing these things that you enjoy doing. And I'm the type of person that if I don't enjoy something, I'm going to pull myself out of it. Maybe a year or so ago, I got offered a gig at a recording studio, maybe 2 years ago, and I was all about it. But then I just, the atmosphere wasn't right for me, and I didn't enjoy going. I would dread getting booked. So like at that point, it's time for me to go. And I've always kind of lived my life that way because life is too short. And I say this often. Life is way too short to kind of wake up with regrets or wake up dreading something. So if it doesn't, I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right? You got to pay your bills. You got to work. But I try to find a way to work and make money that makes me happy. It makes me not hate life because you can't hate life. Like it's not a way to live. So that's where I've been. Now where we're going, one of my big goals, a lot of people shit on, excuse me, they dump on New Year's resolutions a lot. I don't ever want to be that type of person to dump on New Year's resolutions. Like, take this opportunity to reflect over the year and to try again or to resolve to do something greater than what you did the year before. I don't know why people like to dump on it and like talk trash about people who have New Year's resolutions. I feel like those are dream crushers. You know what I mean? Like, there's been years in which, like, yo, I said to do this thing on January 1st and I did it. Like, I made a concerted effort to make a change or to do this and that, and I did it. Now, if it's true, like sometimes the argument is that if you're lazy in December 31st, you're going to be lazy January 1st, and that's not always the case. That's kind of a very negative way of thinking, a very pessimistic way of thinking. So if you have a New Year's resolution, attack it. And sure, like you may fail, but you will automatically fail if you don't try. So I always say, like, just try. So this year, my goal is to be more consistent with everything that I enjoy doing, and finding new ways to enjoy it and be creative with it. With the podcast, with Tech Supreme, the producer, like I kind of definitely took a step back. I made music last year, but I kind of kept it to myself. And I was not as consistent as I have been my entire life leading up to last year. So I want to get back into that. I've been making more and more music, and it's always good because I've been doing it for so long. I'm good at what I do. I'm good at creating music, but I just don't put it out. So this year I want to change that, and I want to do things more consistently. I want to do this podcast. I want to do the MC Dudes with Caleb more consistently. I want to promote more consistently. I'm a creative. I'm a graphic designer. I'm an artist. I'm not really that great at marketing promotions. I deal with it. I create marketing and promotion tools. I do it for everyone. I get paid to do that. But for myself, I guess I have a problem pushing that out. So I just got to be more focused on being consistent with that. So that being said, that's where I've been and that's where I'm going. I want to focus more on YouTube. I've even done a vlog of our vacation in Cabo, which is my next topic, which was really cool, really fun to do. Um, am I good at making vlog videos? No, not yet. But I will get there. I think I'm gonna try to pull it up real quick just so I can just have it playing real quick. So pardon the silence. Let's see if I can get this going. Yeah. So, you know, want to focus on just doing things differently this year and attacking YouTubes and just doing that. So I didn't really have a good for this video that I'm playing. I haven't done the voiceover. I did the voiceover once and it just didn't record properly. When I get better at vlogging, I will be doing it as it happens. And I did some talking doing this, but I didn't put it in there because I just didn't like the quality of it compared to like this. So yeah, just something I'm working on, but I enjoyed putting this together, and I'm looking forward to. I'm gonna probably post it today. Still not sure if I'm going to do it where it's voiced over or just put some music underneath it and just let it ride. That's a possibility too. So yeah, that's where I've been at. So let's talk about this Cabo trip. It was my wife's 40th birthday last weekend, not this weekend, but a week from Sunday. And we went to Cabo, and we went to this beautiful resort. It's a 5-star resort, very, very fancy resort. We usually go to regular, just really great fun resorts, but this one was a kind of a luxury resort. And it had one of the restaurants has a chef, and I forgot his name. I followed him on Instagram, but I forgot his name. He has 2 Michelin stars, and that meal was absolutely positively insane. It was an 8-course meal with wine pairing, which I don't drink wine, but that was a lot of fucking wine. And there's only one course I didn't really like. It was this lobster course, and I just didn't like it because it felt too rubbery. But I mean, bone marrow froth and on one of the courses, truffle oil on one of the other courses. It was just delicious. Probably one of the best meals I've ever had. Like, you would put these things in your mouth and you're just like, oh my God, this is delicious. And it's like new flavors. It was like, I'm 41 years old, bro. I'm a big dude. I've had all the flavors. This was brand new flavors. It was crazy. Did some whale spotting. Kind of the whole trip, it was during whale season in the Sea of Cortez. And so I had my drone out one day trying to get drone footage of some whales. Didn't really work out. But then I think on Sunday, we actually managed to get some really dope footage, which will play here shortly. It's my wife throwing up the deuces. But yeah, so it was just a crazy fun trip. I feel re-energized. I feel rejuvenated. I feel at peace. I loved the water. Love the people there. I mean, who worked at the resort. At first, I didn't like the vibe of the people there because it was like I said, it's a luxury resort. So the people were like super kind of. When we first got there, they felt like they were super Karens. Like, you even had security called, like the lobby was called on us for noise complaints at like 6:30 in the morning, and we didn't have shit on with the TV. Like, we were just talking our regular voices. So that was crazy. But it is what it is. I had a GoPro with me, and that was a great camera. If you were on the fence about getting GoPro, if you want to capture any video and you don't want to carry around your digital camera with your lenses and all this and that and whoop de whoop, you want a nice durable 4K 5K camera, GoPro is where it's at. I do have it set up for webcam. Doesn't really look as good as that. Like, you don't get good quality. Here it is right here. What's up, y'all? but but in this aspect with the as is and out the box, it's just a gorgeous camera. So I'm super happy about that. But yeah, that's it. That's the Cabo trip. It was amazing. My wife is amazing. I hope she had a good weekend there. And yeah, that was the Cabo trip. If your resolution is to get out the country, do it. Like, you need to get out of the country. It is a must. Sorry if I'm looking around. This is definitely the way I have it set up now. Normally, I would just be behind myself with lights on me and everything, and it's cool, but it's just like it's not as interactive as this is. So I'm in front of my computers and everything, and I got everything going. It just feels a lot better. Feels a lot, in tuned. So next thing up is It's All Cap. Everyone knows I thought of this. It's All Cap, which is my hat company. This is one of my own custom hats, but which is like, I don't normally put my logo that big on it. I just did that because I was fucking around one day. It's representing St. Louis, Trust No One design. Yeah. So It's All Cap. My goal for this year is just to expand it, to grow it, to just make it as big as possible. And I love where it's going so far. I'm trying to say a lot. I'm doing it a lot today. I'm out of practice for podcast speaking, but yeah, we're just my first order is in processing right now. My first order of 2023 is going to be a 20 hat run order for Jack Nolan's, which happens to be me and my wife's favorite hangout spot in Soulard. Shout out to Jim and Kristen and Mike and all the people who work there and who are the regulars there. They've kind of brought us in, kind of treated us like family, and now like they're also like, I don't know, it's 2022 showed me a lot. And one of the things it showed me was it's okay to accept and bring in new friends. So that was a really great lesson of 22. And they have been so supportive with It's All Cap. Like if I make a post, they share it and they bought it. Like everyone, a lot of people have bought it. You know what I mean? Like, shout out to Clem. He's a Jack Nolan's regular. He bought 9 hats one night. I was up at Jack Nolan's and he texted me and said, "Hey, my family's in town for Christmas." And was it Christmas? It might have been Thanksgiving. I said, my family's in town for Thanksgiving, and they love the hats. Can I order 9, and can you get it done by tonight? So I left Jack Nolan's, came to the crib, and ran 9 full hats, and got it delivered and got it done. So shout out to them, and shout out to everyone who supports It's All Cap so far. Like, I've seen everything that you've done as far as sharing stuff, copping hats, spreading the word. I appreciate it all. 2023, I can't wait to blow it up and get to a point where where I envision it to be. So super excited about that. Yeah, that's it. So moving on, one of the things I did in 22 was I wanted to get more involved in my neighborhood. So I did that. Became basically the graphic designer for everything for the neighborhood, which was fun. I tried to do the events committee, but that didn't work out. I kind of had a sour taste in my mouth when I tried to put together the Juneteenth show for the concert in the park. So I decided that it just wasn't a good idea for me to be that involved with the events committee. But since then, I've worked with the events committee a lot to get graphics done. It's been a great experience. So I was doing that, and the guy who was the president at the time took a liking to me, and he wanted me just to be around and be a part of the board, even though they really didn't have a position for me. So he kind of like low key created one where I was just like, I'm just in the meetings. But now I'm actually the secretary. So I take minutes. Plus I'm head of the safety committee. And that's what I wanted to talk about. I find it interesting that I'm having such a hard time filling safety committee with everyone's always complaining about crime, which leads me to think that most people just like to complain. So like, I'm on Nextdoor and I'm on Facebook groups, and I'm, I run the social media, so I see pretty much everything about Baden Park, which is the neighborhood I live in. So yeah, I just see so many complaints or whatever. But then like when I put the initiative out to do a safety committee, I get crickets. I got a bunch of emails when I first made a post about it, but then on the follow-up email, I only got one person who's like, "Yeah, I'm down for this." But like, it's not like it's an intensive thing, but it's just like, you want to, like, I see the complaints, I see the negativity, and I see the crime, but y'all just want to just complain about it. Y'all don't want to do anything about it. And I find that really odd, but I also find that like a microcosm of how social media and like the internet works. Is like, people just like to talk and spew these things, but they don't want action. They don't want to do anything. They just want, this is like the extent of it. The extent of them being a part of the safety committee is complaining about crime online. That doesn't solve anything. Like let's solve it. Let's try to make this a safer community. That's just my little rant on that. Whatever. It is what it is. I'm not discouraged yet. So, we'll just see what happens as far as like what steps moving forward, what it's going to look like, what I'm going to do with it. It's all in the air, but we'll figure it out. This next story, I find it quite interesting. So it basically, let's just look at the headlines together. Fired Tennessee cop who had sex with her colleagues claims she was in an open relationship, but her husband didn't know about it. And this is like the whole news of the week, kind of. Basically, Tennessee cop was banging her coworkers, and she was married, and people are making fun of her, making fun of him, and no one's talking about these guys who are smanging her too. And like, I think everyone should get fired, but actually, I'm not even sure if they should get fired. Honestly, it's just people. You can get fired for having sex on the job. Like that's an fireable offense. But people being messy, that's their business, man. Like let them be messy. Who cares? If anything, we need more cops that like black people. Obviously, she likes black men. She's not discriminating against race, so I'm all for it. It is what it is. Like that's one of those dumb sayings, but like, yeah, man, people like to fuck, and people who are married, they can get messy. That's messy. But I don't think, I don't know. I don't think it should be as big as news as it is. And also, I'm pretty sure there's been 1 million and 2 million, 3 million cases of cops cheating on their spouses with other people in the departments all over. It is what it is, bro. Like let them live. Who cares, man? Are you a good cop? That's my question. Because honestly, real talk, they fire these cops with the quickness, but cops be shooting, killing black people, and they don't get fired. They get suspended for a week, put on desk duty, but they still keep their jobs. And most likely they'll if they do get fired, they just go get picked up by another department. So this is also, my mind wanders with race and racism, and like if she was messing with white dudes, would it be the same backlash, or is it because he's this married white chick smanging these black officers and sheriffs like that she get in trouble for? So my official opinion is, who gives a fuck? This obviously this cop wasn't racist, so we'll keep her on the force. Just hey, no fucking on the clock. That's pretty much it, right? The rest is not our business. But I digress. Moving on. The name of this topic is Damn You, Justin Roiland. Now, if you don't know who Justin Roiland is, he is the co-creator of Rick and Morty. Literally one of my favorite cartoons. I actually have a Rick and Morty tattoo on my hand. Can't get that covered. So looks like he's gonna be canceled. He got arrested and charged for domestic violence, which is already bad enough. Now his lawyer says that he's fighting this. This is not true at all. This is some BS, and that's all well and fine. However, text messages popped up from a few years ago of him basically talking spicy with a 16-year-old. Now, I don't condone that at all, and I saw the text messages. It's unequivocally inappropriate, and I would, as a diehard Rick and Morty fan, I would be perfectly okay with that being the end of Rick and Morty. I don't need to. I'm not going to support it if this is true, and I'm always going to side with that is true. Now, I'd rather side with a liar than side with someone who is a pedophile, right? So like, there's that. Yeah, it's not looking good for Justin Roiland. It's not looking good for Dan Harmon, who's associated with him, who's his co-creator with him. I don't know what they're gonna do, what Adult Swim's gonna do. No statements have been released, but as a fan of Rick and Morty, I am not rocking with it, and I don't have a problem not separating. I can't separate. I don't listen to R. Kelly's music. I don't listen to Michael Jackson's music. I don't like UFC, so I'm not going to support Dana White slapping his wife. There's so many things. Like I know like Hogwarts is like the big topic, right? With their J.K. Rowling's is anti-trans, so I don't fuck with that. It doesn't take. There's so much good shit out in the world made by good people that I don't have to focus on the good things that people make from villains, right? And I love Rick and Morty. I love that shit. Little legitimately, I have every Rick and Morty Funko that they've ever released. I have every episode I've bought. I have the cartoon, the art book. I love Rick and Morty. Am I fucking with it? Not at the current moment, no. And it's not hard for me to. There's an attachment there, but it's not hard for me to say fuck it. If you're a creep, you're doing fucked up shit, you beating your wife or your girlfriend, and you text messaging underage women in your mid 30s, bro. Fuck you and fuck whatever you make. It's that simple. And if you can't detach yourself from content, then you're a slave to it. It should never interfere with your morals. Your content consumption should never interfere with your morals. Because if you can't consume that, if you can consume Hogwarts, then you're okay with anti-trans. If you can rock with R. Kelly, you're okay with underage, sex trafficking, underage women, all that. You're not doing it. You're co-signing it. You're allowing it to exist. And our fandom cannot create these monsters, right? Like it shouldn't. Like if you become popular for a thing you do, and then you take that power to abuse people, you don't deserve that power. Simple. It's so simple to me. I don't understand all the argument in the back and forth. But that's just how I view it. That's how tech could navigates content creation, and like what happens when someone does something that I don't agree with. I don't fuck with it. So simple. So simple. So as of now, until more information comes out, I'm hands off of Rick and Morty and Justin Roiland and the ship they created. I'm not even going to play the video game, which I do enjoy, but I'm not going to pay. I'm not going to support. It is what it is. And in that same vein, I got to come back to Chris D'Elia. So this guy puts out this very detailed, extremely detailed. Hold on a second. Extremely detailed documentary on Chris D'Elia. It's called The Chris D'Elia Problem. Now, it's about an hour long, and the guy who put it together is a up-and-coming comedian. And I liked how he handled it at the end. He was like, listen, I know you're going to say I'm doing this for clout, but I'm really not. This is probably going to hurt my career more than anything. And he's like 100% right. Like, if the powers that be aren't happy with it, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is not like a good look for him. But this is a worse look for Chris D'Elia because he's basically duped me. And I feel duped. And I feel like dumb because like after the initial allegations over the pandemic, and then he took maybe half a year off, maybe a year off with his congratulations podcast, and then he brought it back. I was like, all right, well, he's a changed man. He didn't got married. He didn't had a kid. He's in therapy. He's talking openly about it. This entire documentary is not about what happened before the apology video. This is all about what happened after. This man is a fucking monster, bro. Like, if this shit is true, which it's like this man had receipts. He had this guy who was his old tour manager on here just exposing. You know what I mean? Like, it looks pretty bad for D'Elia. And as a fan, ex-fan, it's disheartening. It's sad. You know, like, dude, you're never going to get it together. You are a manipulator, bro. You're a narcissist. And if you've ever dealt with a narcissist, you already know that's who they are. And this guy is a problem. And his wife, I don't know what she gains from it. Well, you kind of do, but like, it's just very sad. And it's very unfortunate that this is the path that he's taken. And he's very talented. He's a very talented comedian. Now, do I like his podcast more than his stand-up? Yes. But that's just my opinion. That's just how I feel about it. But can I rock with it? No. It's over. It's over. And I like his brother Matt. They had a podcast they started together this year called this is basically an advice column. I forgot what it's called. Just off the top of my head, I forgot. But it's just something that I can't consume. I can't fuck with it. It's bad. The documentary is bad. And I don't think he's addressed it yet. I don't think he's going to, but I'm not rocking with it. And that's that on that. So Chris D'Elia is canceled again. If you haven't seen the documentary, go to YouTube and type in the Chris D'Elia problem. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. I don't get it. I don't get what these dudes they're not like, I hate to say it, but like Harvey Weinstein looks like he has to trick women, right? Like he has to do some skeevy shit. But Justin Roiland is a regular looking fella. Chris D'Elia is a regular looking fella. Like, you have fame. Like, you don't have to like be a creep. You don't have to abuse power. Just, you can be regular. I just truly don't understand the psyche of someone who does this predatory shit. I guess it's a power control. Like, it's not really a sex addiction, it's more of a power addiction. And that's some weird shit, bro. And I'll be honest with you, bro. Like I'm 41 years old. Like, when I see Zendaya, she's not sexy to me. She looks like a kid. Like, bro, like, kids are kids. Like, the 21 is a kid to me. You know what I mean? Like, I was putting together this the Cabo trip video, and I mentioned me talking to the camera, and I was talking about like how, like, man, I know it's adults only pool, but I wish that was like 30 plus and older, because the kids who are like in their 20s, they're annoying. Kids are kids, bro. Like, if you're 40, 20 years ago is 20, like, that's a kid. How do you find that sexually attractive? I don't get it, bro. Like, it's disgusting to me. Literally gross. I don't know. That's just me, I guess. I don't know. That's just how I view things. Like, I recognize that Zendaya is a beautiful woman, but also, to me, like, there's a disconnect because she looks like a kid to me. She's a kid to me. Like, she's literally a kid to me. Like, she's so super young. If I'm 21 and you were 0, you're a baby. You know what I mean? Like, I think of it like that. Like, I transpose, like, okay, so there's a 20-year age difference, right? That means when he was 30, she was 10. Like, that's gross to me, bro. Like, I can't rock with that. So I never understand that psyche of these guys who need to go young. That shit's gross. And it's kind of, it's pedophilia to me. Even if it's legal age. It is what it is to me. Last news story. Hero. I call him a hero. I named it Hero Shoots Robber. So there was a guy, this kid was robbing a taco store in Houston, and the fucking guy was waving a gun around, do whoop de whoop, trying to robbing everybody, person by person. So he turns to, we don't know if he was leaving or he's robbing some more people or whatever, shaking down someone else. But the guy sitting down pulled out a gun and just lays into him. Now the guy died. The criminal died, but somehow the activist is saying like this vigilante killer needs to be arrested and charged. But what I saw was a dude who was being threatened with deadly force, respond with deadly force, and not only did he do that, right? Not only did he put him down, but he went to his pockets, got the money back, and is like, okay, who got what? Like, who got what stolen? Here's your money back. But then the crazy part is everybody left except for the workers. Like, everyone left the restaurant, so the cops didn't know who it was. Now, where he did mess up was after his initial shot, he kept shooting, and he kind of did a double tap. Now, that is too far, but given the circumstances, up until that point is justified, right? So any good lawyer, I think, will be able to get him off of that. But I don't think he should be like arrested or charged or anything. This looks like to me a clear-cut, black and white self-defense case where, and you can tell too. And shout out to this man because he didn't want to do this. Once he picked up the gun, because when you are in a self-defense encounter, you want to disarm the aggressor. Once he realizes the gun was fake, he's angry. He's like, and it's more like, damn, you made me do this, and I didn't want to do this. So like, you kind of feel that emotion and energy, while with his body language. He was pissed. He was pissed he had to do that because no one wants to do that. No sane, sober person wants to take another person's life. Now, there was a case of this young man who was supposedly going through cars, and this homeowner shoots and kills him. He was like a 13-year-old kid. Now, your property is not worth a life, for one. And for two, there is no evidence that he was going through cars. Now, was he at the wrong place? Obviously. I want to find more. I'm going to talk about that more on the next episode of Rent Free. But there's some people out here who want to kill someone. I don't know why, but there are. This wasn't that. This guy was just wanted to defend the people that he was with. He wanted to defend himself, and he did so in a very, what I would consider textbook way. So we got to watch and see what happens to that. Hopefully, they get it right. It is a stand your ground state, Texas. So we'll see what happens. I don't think he'll get in trouble, but that's for the professionals who handle stuff like that. Now we're going to end the episode. I like to keep it around 30 minutes, keep it moving. I'm going to end it with a couple movie reviews. The first one is not a movie review, it's a trailer review. I just want to say how excited I am about Ant-Man. Tickets went on sale last night. We are a month out from Kang, Jonathan Majors, Kang the Conqueror. I can't wait to see it. It's all Sylvie's fault from Loki. It's going to be super dope. It's our first in-depth look at the quantum realm. It's been a plot device for like 3 movies now. The first Ant-Man toyed with it. The second Ant-Man was all about retrieving the mom, and then Endgame was all about quantum realm. But this is our first look into the world of the quantum realm. And I am tired of the trailer breakdown videos. I don't need to see that. I don't barely want to see the trailers anymore. I already got my movie ticket. I want to go see the movie and be done with it. I don't need to see frame by frame breakdowns, kind of spoiling it for myself. I don't want to do that. So I'm super excited about it. I think Jonathan Majors is an incredible actor. And it's going to be super dope. So the tickets are on sale now. So grab it if you want to see it. And my non-spoiler review of Megan, real quick, great movie. Chucky meets 2023. It was current. It felt great. It was funny. It had parts of gore, but it wasn't really overly top gory. It wasn't a horror movie in the sense of horror movies, but it was still a scary concept. I know a couple of times I looked over to my boys, Ryan from Nerdy Bits, and I said, hey, I want one. I want a Megan doll. Like, I want someone like about that life. It was a super great movie. If you get a chance to go see it, go see it. Blumhouse gets me, man. Like, I did not like horror movies up until Mr. Sinister, or not Mr. Sinister, that's a Marvel character, but the movie Sinister with Ethan Hawke. And I just found out recently that's a Blumhouse movie. And ever since then, like, Blumhouse movies, if it's a horror movie and it's Blumhouse, I'm gonna like it. And it's no different with Megan. It's a really good movie. I think one of my favorite movies that have come out that's horror is Insidious, and I want to look real quick to see if that is a Blumhouse movie. It is a Blumhouse production, of course, because if it's horror and it's good and I like it, it's going to be Blumhouse. Jason Blum, this gets me. I don't know how. The same way the Russo brothers emotionally get me. Like, they can make a movie about anything and I'm going to cry at the end of it. I cried at the end of Endgame like a little baby. I was emotionally distraught after Infinity War. Like, the Russo brothers, they fucking get me. They did another movie last year that I dropped tears at the end of it, and I can't remember what movie it was. Let's see if I'm going to do good podcasting and try to look it up. I can't remember what it was. You know, they did a bunch of community episodes, and of course I'm not gonna cry at that, but God, they did something. They were part of something. Oh, they did Everything Everywhere All at Once. They were producers on Everything Everywhere All at Once. Easily my favorite movie of 2022, hands down, not even a question. So yeah. I think that's it, guys. I think that's the podcast. We're back. We're officially back. Now, again, the goal is to be consistent, so I'm going to try my best to weekly upload these videos. I got it through OBS, which is like the super easiest way I can do it. I do have to do minimal editing. I'm a busy guy. I just got like 3 graphic design orders just sitting here right now. So I don't have time to sit and edit a shit ton of video. But so this would make it streamlined for me. So thank you for listening. Do me a favor. This episode is sponsored by It's All Cap. Go to www.itsallcap.com. And here's the It's All Cap. If I can learn how to get it right. Itsallcap.com. Use the code RENTFREE for $5 off any hat. And you can add that to multiple hats if you want. So go to www.itsallcap.com. Use the code RENTFREE for $5 off every single hat in your cart. Not just $5 off the entire order. That's not good enough, right? $5 off every hat that you purchase. Use the code. Thank you again for listening. It's my pleasure. Tech Supreme, Rent Free, episode 25, and I will see you the next time. Peace.
Rent free. Rent free. Rent free. Lives in your head rent free. Rent free. Rent free. Rent free. Lives in your head rent free.